Welcome back to my series, Dance Mums Uncovered. There are many scenes throughout the show where important information was edited out. By hiding the true causes of drama, the cast seems a lot crazier and more emotional than they actually are. Because there was much more to the show's narrative than the producers cared to show. Feel free to share your thoughts on the following evidence. First, let's look at unseen triggers. A common technique to make it seem like the cast is unstable involves using editing to remove the triggers that cause fights to occur. It's common knowledge by now that Abby made fun of Chloe's eye, which caused Christi to get mad during Season 4 Nationals, but was edited out. There are many more examples of fights where the escalating incident isn't shown. In Season 2 Episode 1, it looks like Kelly swears at Abby in the dressing room over some bickering, and because she told her to get a job. Christi jumped to Kelly's defense on Twitter that week. She claims that Abby said something completely out of line about Kelly's mother, which is what made her so angry.
Abby went and got ugly. And
really
was
ugly.
Really, really ugly. And was talking about my mother.
Yes.
And was saying, that my mom used to do all this stuff while I was at dance class behind my back. And
Meanwhile, your mom was like a freaking angel of a human.
Yes, and anybody that ever met her would say it. So she kept going on and on about my mom. But, then they edit it and make it out that I'm making it over that I didn't pay my bill,
Jill says that during the week of Season 2 Nationals, Kendall got so upset about not having a solo because Abby had already given Kendall the solo before taking it away. Holly has said in the Mums podcast that she was always worried about things being taken out of context. Kelly added that an example of this was when Paige was given a pink costume instead of the green one. She explains that she was upset about something much bigger that week.
I didn't want certain things to be taken out of context
and they do
switched.
that.
And that was what I was most concerned with as well. And that did happen.
They used to show me like a psychopath. It would be over like Paige she didn't get the green costume. She got the green costume. She wanted the pink costume. They made me look like a psychopath, and that was so not what it was about. It was about something major, and they made me look like an idiot because I was flipping out about something so stupid.
Yeah.
Kaya and Nicaya have explained some of the terrible insults that the mums, Abby and Cathy have said to them. A lot of their mockery was racist and homophobic in nature. Despite all of the antagonism that was thrown at them, only Kaya's reaction to their insults would be shown during episodes, making her seem emotional and aggressive.
People were attacking her for how she looked on TV, but nobody paid attention to what she was saying was happening behind the scenes. Calling her a black bee, calling her a dyke, and that is very rude to say to a gay person or anyone in the LGBTQ plus community, saying so much about her, racial slurs, all of that stuff, and that's not okay. But then only thing that people see is her lashing out.
Next, let's explore production interference. There were also plenty of instances where production interfered to create the most intense drama possible, making sure that their meddling couldn't be seen by audiences. In Season 1, when Brooke wore Vivi's costume, the show made it seem like Cathy suddenly changed her mind and didn't want her to wear it. But Cathy has recently revealed that the producers made her take the costume from Brooke. To make matters even more dramatic, the day that this happened was actually Kelly's birthday, which production undoubtedly knew. Cathy has reaffirmed that she never had issues with Kelly during their time on the show.
We had one altercation while we were filming, and that was about the costume that I was supposed to not want her to have Brooke wear. Of course, you all know by now that was made for TV.
I think that Kelly, we never really got close.
Yeah.
But I don't have problems with Kelly.
Right.
Last year, Abby discussed Maddie having to kiss Gino in the studio. She claims that it was the producer's idea, and goes on to suggest that they came up with the storyline because Melissa was kissing someone who she wasn't supposed to. She also believes that the producers told the cameramen to invade Abby's personal space, entering her bedroom, hotel rooms, and dressing room. This explains why she seems so startled and enraged when she sees cameras follow her into these spaces.
It was a musical theater. It was supposed to be a kiss. And remember, there's a whole
whole production company telling me, make her kiss somebody, blah, blah, blah. That was the whole story of the week. Probably because her mother got caught kissing someone she shouldn't have. The cameramen who wanted to catch me doing crazy psycho things or saying something, but yet part of them really didn't want that to happen. And they were told by producers, go in there and get that shot, go into her dressing room, go into her bedroom, go into her hotel room and get that shot, get that shot, get that shot.
Kira has claimed that the reason why she took a day off of filming in Australia was because she was fighting with one of the producers, Scott. She says that it was one of her worst fights and that she almost punched him. According to her, they began filming immediately after a 13-hour flight. The kids began to fall behind on their schoolwork, and the producers said that it didn't matter because child labour laws and schooling laws are different internationally. She says that he was also trying to get her to do something that she didn't want to do.
It was what, season 5 or 6 you guys went to Australia?
Yeah, we went for 2 weeks. It was, of course, chaos. I got in the biggest fight ever with our producer there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, what producer?
Scott. Literally, almost punched him in the face. Of course, it aired that I was taking a me day. I needed a me day. I didn't want to go to dance practice. I didn't want to go to rehearsal. I wanted to take a me day. I'm like, no, assholes. Let's tell the truth. It was not a me day. Your producer was trying to force me to do something I didn't want to do. And on top of that, we had no sleep. We arrived on a red eye and went straight into filming after 13 hours on a plane. And our kids hadn't done school in like 3 days. And they're just getting further and further and further behind. And I know how this is going to work out when we get home. I'm like, this is wrong. And they're like, we're in a different country. We don't have to apply the school laws as we do in the US.
Evidence number 3, pushing for craziness. Context was also removed from situations to make cast members appear crazier and more irrational than they were at the time. One scene that continues to baffle viewers is when Abby takes her shirt off during a fight with Kira in Season 5, Episode 25. Jess has explained that the mums had been berating Abby, even though it looked like she was about to cry. Her claim makes it seem like there was actually a lot more said than what made the final episode. Abby explained that she was kicked out of the competition venue by producers that day. Some articles reported that the fight was about Abby insulting Kalani's weight, but Kira confirmed on Twitter that this was not true. On the Because Mum Said So podcast, the mums recall that Abby took her shirt off multiple times during the show in order to get the cameras off her. In fact, it sounds like Kelly was there for at least one of these instances.
When she took her shirt off and like screamed and cried and then left. It started with Abby, like, we were just knew she was gonna cry, so we just kind of kept going at her. I don't remember what we were fighting about that day, but she was crying. The tears were coming. And so then I think Maddie and Kenzie went up to her and hugged her. And then Kalani went up and hugged her and she pushed Kalani away. Now, I don't know if she pushed Kalani away because she was like, no, I'm okay. Like, just like that. I don't want to cry right now. It's enough. Or if she was like, I don't want a hug from you. Right. I don't know. But Kira took it as, I don't want a hug from you. All of a sudden, Abby didn't want to be filmed, so what does Abby do? She takes her shirt off.
When Abby would get so mad, she would just take her shirt off and she didn't think they would film her.
She would like hide. Remember, she'd like put it over her head and hide.
Oh,
like, we can't see you, Abby.
That was a really good idea.
Melissa, that is so funny. But you're right. If she did not want the cameras on, she would take her clothes off.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Which was a scary sight.
Oh my God.
Christi has explained how she was pushed past her limits by production in Season 1. The day where she tried to go home was supposed to be the cast's day off. They were told that they were going to leave early that day, but then they didn't, which was a problem because Chloe had homework and Christi had housework.
There's an episode, I think it's the very beginning, when I'm really upset because I'm stuck at the dance studio and I'm like crying about Cheerios and dumb stuff. But the truth is, we didn't know that our lives were going to change. Like, we were going to have to be there every night. And when it was a Wednesday night, and that was normally the day that we had off. And so the fact that we were there, and then I had been originally told that we were going to leave early, because Chloe had homework and I had things to do and I wasn't planning on being there all night.
4. Competitive pressures. Being on a competitive reality show and being expected to win was a major reason why the cast acted the way they did. In Season 6, Abby told Kendall that she didn't want 2 13-year-olds on her team, suggesting that she would have to compete with Bryn for the position. This explains why Jill and Kendall felt so threatened by her presence. During the week where Gianina was given her first solo, She was under a lot of pressure to win in order to secure her place on the team. She wasn't upset because she hated her solo like it seemed on the show. She simply felt that her costume, theme, and song were not designed to win.
I never said I didn't like the choreography, anything in my dance. I hated the concept, the costume, and the song. And what did I say? I liked the tricks in my dance.
And finally, we have incomplete stories. Many of the storylines from the show were missing a few facts that would have made them a lot more understandable. Christi has revealed on her podcast that the fight over Melissa taking her kids to Abby's ultimate dance competition was much more complicated than it seemed. The mums had all agreed not to go to AUDC because they didn't want the producers to exploit the girls in order to make the show successful. Their lawyers had all agreed in advance that this was the best course of action. So when Chloe and Maddie were invited to perform Black Swan, Christi decided not to do it. She explains that Melissa and Jill said yes to Abby because they didn't want her to be upset with them. This incident was one of the reasons why Abby treated Chloe so harshly in season 4. Christi was mad that by sticking to the pact she had hurt her child.
Me, Holly, Jill, Kelly, and Melissa had all agreed that no matter what, we were not doing Abby's Ultimate because we thought at that time it would be exploiting our girls to make that show successful because Dance Moms was successful, Abby's Ultimate wasn't doing that well. And so we collectively, with our attorneys, had agreed that we weren't going to be part of that show. Chloe and Maddie were actually invited to do Black Swan on Abby's Ultimate. They called me and I dug in and I said, nope, actually, I think Kendall did actually end up going. And so then, lo and behold, Melissa went. Because as soon as she was asked, she was like, sure, I'll send my girls. And I was like, wait a minute, you just said no. And she sent her girls because then it wouldn't make Abby upset. And then that was just kind of the first step in really making things difficult for myself and Chloe.
When the episode had aired where Melissa said that Christi took Chloe to the movies after her doctor's appointment, Christi explained herself on Twitter. She revealed that they had been told by the doctor that Chloe should not dance that day, so they went to go watch the Hunger Games. Another confusing story point on the show is when Kelly and Christi become mad at one another. It seems that Kelly was mad when the mums claimed to storm out of the studio on her behalf, when in reality they were getting themselves a pay rise. Then she became even more upset over the Glitzy Girls jewelry line, which was a project that Christi and Melissa embarked on with their girls. In a reunion show, she claimed that she felt left out because Christi was spending more time with Melissa than with her, despite the fact that the two of them had been each other's biggest critics in the past.
I think that Melissa and Christi have started a new jewelry line, and I kind of feel left out of that.
So what do you guys think? Does the added context change the way you view these scenes? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.